Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm a former Boeing 737 pilot and a member of the PMDG 737 tech team. Welcome to our first flight on the PMDG 737-900ER. Today we are going to go full transcontinental range here, operating the real-world Alaska Airlines Flight 311 from Boston to Portland, which is a 6-hour flight. Now, it's early morning here in Boston and a little bit freezy winter weather. Hopefully it's gonna be a little bit better over in Portland, but we're going to see about that. For now, join us in the 737 as we're about to get ready for today's service. Lovely business class over here. I would most definitely want to fly in that one for a long flight like this. Alright, but now let's get right up into the cockpit and prepare our aircraft for today's service. Now, getting into here, first of all, let's put our coat up on the hangar. Let's put our flight bags inside. You can already get your high-vis vest ready over there, and then we can take a seat in our 737. It's pretty cold up here in Boston, -3 degrees at the moment, and, well, the windows are frozen over, so we will definitely need to de-ice the aircraft today. Alright then, I'd say we go right into this one and start with our flight plan. So let's go down here, request the data from SimBrief please, and then we can start having a look down here. So remember, everything is in freedom units, so if it looks a little high, then that's the reason why. Now, starting with the basics, let's catch our route. This is what it looks like, departing Boston into Canada and then across the Great Lakes with more or less direct course towards Portland. If we do go down a little bit, we can see that the significant weather chart is quite clear, and the same is the case for the second half of the flight. And well, here you can nicely see why it does make sense to fly a little north initially, so that we have that jet stream here a little bit more as crosswind than it would be if we were to fly straight down here. Alright, so with that in mind, let's stroll up a little bit into the airport weather, which we've got right over here. And as we can see, Boston light snow, pretty cold outside and overall not so nice weather. Portland is much better, beautiful weather conditions there and even temperatures of 13 degrees. Our outlet in Seattle has a beautiful forecast as well. So with that in mind, scheduled departure time is 1100, bringing us to Portland 20 minutes ahead of schedule on the 737-900, and we are not critical with any of our weights. Cruising level 320 at first, quite the typical level for the airplane, and then later on climb to 34 and eventually 360. Now with all of that in mind, let's have a look into the fuel section of our flight plan. 42.9 is the minimum plus taxi. Now we are going to have to de-ice the airplane. There may be a little bit of delay at the departures as well, so if we bring this one up a little more, let's say 44,000 pounds, then we should be absolutely good to go. So let's go ahead and get some services here. We are going to operate that jetway, and then we can move straight down into the weight and balance app over here. Now let's switch that one over to pounds please. Load the plane from SimBrief, and then we go to the precise loading. Down here we said we wanted 44,000 pounds of fuel, so let's load that up, and here we go. 44.1 is showing on board. Beautiful. Alright, with that we've loaded our plane up, so let's go ahead, and as soon as the jetway has connected, we can request our boarding over here, which might take a little while, but let's actually go ahead and do the catering services first, just to get those out of the way. Now, let's start with our standard operating procedures up here. So the battery is on, power is on, and the landing gear lever is down, the flaps are up, and that agrees with the lever. Then we can ensure the emergency exit lights are on. Attendant call button is checked. We've got our takeoff config warning tested. Then let's test the APU and the fire extinguishers like that, and the same for the squips. Those are all looking good. And then I'll tell you what, give me that fuel pump and give me that APU on straight away over here. It is freaking cold, so we definitely do want to make it a bit warmer at least. Alright, Squawk 2000 standby, voice recorder is coming on. Then flight recorder test is good, clackers are good, stick shaker. Test is good. Let's go ahead and reset those IRSs over here. Our engineers were so kind to align them, but I'd rather do that myself. Alright, and all the rest is checked. The equipment is on board as needed. Then we can take a seat down here again. Alright, so the catering vehicles are about to arrive. And let's see, these service doors are actually open. Excellent. So the GSX integration, as you guys can see, is working just the way it was before. There were a couple of comments here whether PMDG would have completely removed it. As you can see, no, that's not the case over here. Alright, then let's go ahead and do that light test. And as we can see, everything is looking splendid, including the HUD controls that you can see down there. Alright, and that's looking good. Then we are going to dim the lights for our departure, since it is a nighttime departure out of Boston over here. And, well, let's close that GSX window so that it doesn't block our click spots. So, that's all looking good. And the oxygen test is looking fantastic as well. Alright, so traffic, airport, and terrain. And the same on the other side, please. Traffic should be on by default. Airport and terrain definitely are coming on right now. Okay, so as soon as boarding is complete, we can go ahead and start the, or as soon as the catering is complete, we can start the boarding. Let's go ahead and turn on the air conditioning here, so that it is rather warm for when our guests are arriving. 737, always got to turn those down a bit. And well, since it is definitely freezing outside, let's go ahead and switch the probe heat on, and let's also switch the window heat on in order to defrost our windows. Okay, now with all of that done, I'd say we can slowly get into our actual operation over here. So let's run over into the electronic flight bag and grab a couple of charts so that we can start with our basics. So Boston, ATIS is 135.0, so let's see what we're gonna be up to today. Here we go, 135.0. Let's go ahead and turn that on to the monitor.
Runway 33 right is
and then let's have a very quick listen.
All aircraft remake all hold short instructions and decide altitude. Numerous construction cranes in Boston area and in vicinity of Logan Airport. Advise on initial contact. You have information November. Boston Logan Airport ATIS information November. 2223 Zulu Special. West 030 at 6. Visibility 4. Light snow. Mist. 2,900 scattered.
Alright, and the Daylink ATIS is working as well.
4,200
excellent.
13,000 overcast. Temperature -3.
Then we don't need to listen to any of that stuff, but we can simply go ahead and just take it from the digital ATIS. So 030 at 6, 4 miles in light snow, scattered clouds, -32965. So 2965 is set like this. Beautiful, and then we can set up the other side as well with the MFRA, which is probably going to be like 1020. Almost here, and here we go, 1020 is set. Alright, lovely. So ATIS is on board. Let's see about the runways. Departing runway is 9. Runway 33 is approved for turn-off after landing. Okay, but most importantly, runway 9 is going to be our departure runway. Well then, let's get started, and just a very quick check here. Looks like our catering is complete, so let's go ahead and request boarding, please. Then get me that flight plan, please, and then we can start our FMS setup. So, 737-900ER with split scimitars, 27K engine, nav database is up to date. Then let's fetch that GPS position here. And why is it not asking me to actually insert it? We did restart the IRSs a while ago, didn't we? Oh no, I have a feeling that for some reason they are not aligning up here. Let's go ahead and turn them off for a little while, like half a minute or so, which is what we would do in the real world if we want a complete reset. Alright, so for now let's continue on down here. Flight plan request from the SimBrief route. Select that, please. And that's Boston to Portland, Alaska 311. And that is all checked against our... That's all checked against our flight plan. Now let me do a very quick check here. If we go down into the options, simulation, IRS options, they're set to realistic. Let's turn off the last memory position. I actually tell you what, we can keep that on. And here we go. So, let's see, the route uplink is here. And then 30 seconds have passed, so let's turn those IRSs back, and now they're on DC, and now they're probably also going to align. Okay, so departing runway 9R, and we're departing via the Highland 7 departure towards Boxy. Let's check that real quick. So Highland 7 to Boxy, direct Poldy, direct Yankee Quebec Tango, direct Golf Fox Kilo, direct Heidel, direct Lima Whiskey Tango, direct Papa Delta Tango, direct JNOX, and then we got the Hood 5 arrival for an ILS approach runway 10 left, like this, and we're coming from JNOX, please. Alright, that is looking good. Activate, please, and then here we go. Now we also have the alignment prompt. Alright, IRS position is set. That's looking good. Then let's continue to the performance entry. And yeah, I have noticed the route data uplink is there. So, cost index is 20. Reserve fuel is 3.4 plus 2.5, giving me 5.9. Like that. Plant zero fuel weight 137.4. Like this. Flight level 320 is going to be our initial cruise level. Average headwind 43 knots, so let's turn that into 270 at 43. So, top of climb outside air temperature, let's see, is minus 52. 18,000 for the transition altitude is correct, and then we go on into the takeoff reference, page 2, and noise abatement 2, accelerating in 1500 is okay with me. 250 below 10,000 is good. And then we can insert Boston down here with a 25-mile ring, like that, for MSA awareness. Alright, lastly, let's do a wind data request, and then we are pretty much done with our FMC setup. To the part where we have to check the SID, so let's do that as well real quick. Departing runway 9, we go straight out to Claw, max 250, and that's above 4,000 feet, and we got Claw 250 above 10,000, left to Crot, continue via Stacy, Draft, and then towards Highland, and we got all of that. Lovely. So, initial climb, is that anywhere on here? Doesn't really look like it, does it? Oh yeah, here it is, 5,000. So 5.1 is set for the time being. Okay, lovely. So that's our FMC completed. Then let's just quickly go over all our systems. Yaw damper on, nav transfer and display switches, normal and auto. Fuel pumps are coming on. Cross feed. Open. And close. Nav transfer display switches on. Fasten belts on. Window heat on. Probe heat on. Hydraulic pumps are coming on. Then we've got everything set up here. How's the temperature doing? Still pumping incredibly hot air into the cabin. But the cabin is only slowly coming up, okay. Alright, that's all set. Cruise level 320 at first. Like that, and our destination field elevation is, well, roughly 0. Like this. Right, igniter since we do have maintenance, and then going up to the MCP. Inches, barrow, everything set. Okay, flight directors are coming on. Runway 09 is in use, so let's set that heading to something like 090. And runway 04 in case of an immediate return, so let's have a look. 04 right, it's that one. Final approach course 033. Then we can set that over here. Alright, that's looking good. Fuel flow reset. Auto brake on. We do have sufficient oil. We do have sufficient hydraulics. Altimeter is set. Parking brake definitely also going to be set. Frequencies, well, what do we have at the moment? There's ground on 1 to 1.9er. And we'll do the rest later then. Okay, so for the departure, let's see once again. Do we have any VORs or anything? Nope, nothing. Anything for the approach? Runway 4 right. We just pinned that Boston 12.7. So let's switch that active and over here as well. Weather and turbulence. Down here everything is set. Okay, so we are basically done with our setup down here. Well then, I suppose the clearance is going to come via CPDLC anyway, respectively. We're in VATSIM, that means we are going to get PDC, and we've actually just gotten that already. So let's go ahead and have a very quick look into the PDC that we are expecting today. I would absolutely love to get you guys that one on the screen. Let's see if we can do that real quick. And we actually can. Alright, here it is. So, let's see. We've got a PDC for Alaska 311 on a 737-900 from Boston via the Highland 7 departure, and that's probably going to be runway 9, even though it doesn't actually say in here, does it? It doesn't say, but runway 9 is what's on the ATIS, and Highland 7. Then let's go ahead and confirm that. Contact 121.9 for a push, and the squawk is 2455. Okay, wonderful. So that's that part set up. Okay. Then I think we are good to go for our departure briefing over here. And look at that, the windows are slowly clearing up as well. So for the briefing, threats for today's departure, I do honestly not see any, do you? Nope. Alright. So, for our route track, we basically went over that stuff already, so I'm just gonna do a quick version here. Kilo Bravo Oscar Sierra to Kilo Papa Delta X-Ray, Alpha Sierra Alpha 311. We did already check the route, so we are just gonna copy that one to the standby, and we got 2,271 miles, which checks with the flight plan. Remaining fuel will only become available once the RS alignment is complete, but should be fine. Okay, so our time UTC is 1050, altimeter 2965, reading 20 feet, MFRA 1020, flight directors are on, minus the master, and the standby instruments are set. It's a left seat takeoff of runway 9, flaps 5, noise abatement procedure 2 with a backup at 1500, and in case of engine out, we climb straight at 25 miles, climbing, well, what's the MSA here? Actually, where is the MSA? Here it is, 2500. Plus cold temperature correction, so make that 2800. Okay, for the emergencies. Above 80 knots, I will only call stop for fire warning, engine failure, predictive wind shear warning, or if the aircraft is unable or unsafe to fly. If I call stop, I simultaneously close the thrust levers, disengage the auto throttle, apply max manual braking, verify operation of the RTO auto brakes, manually raise the speed brake lever, apply max reverse thrust, and when the aircraft comes to stop, I will set the parking brake. If you call stop, I note the brakes on speed and call speed brakes up or speed brakes not up, and thruster is normal indications. Call 100 knots, 8 knots, 6 knots, and the runway distance remaining. Verify your actions, call any emissions, I call auto brake disarm, and select flaps 40 when the parking brake has been set, and advise ATC at the reject. We then identify any failure and carry out the engines as appropriate. If we decide to evacuate, we do the evacuation checklist. Time permitting, we'll pull the CBR circuit breaker, you grab the lid, then we get out. If the call before we want us keep going, there'll be no actions below 400 feet except to cancelling warnings, raise the landing gear with the department freight. 400 feet, verify heading select and carry out the memory items. Set the MFRA, buck up, retract flaps and schedule. Flaps up and lights, select global change MCT, engage the automatics, non-normal checklist, normal checklist. Pay your CNITS PA, and then we come up with a plan. So for our taxi, it's going to be a pushback into the bay behind us, and we're probably going to do the de-icing right up here at the gate. So de-icing over here, then taxi out, I suppose Charlie, Bravo, and then Kilo Mike, somewhere over here to runway 9er. Our SIT is the Highland 7 departure, climbing to 5,000 feet, corrected MSA is 2800, so none of the restrictions over here do apply. SIT straight out of claw, left turn, left turn, left turn. Enjoy the views of Boston City on our departure on the left hand side, and that's it. Any questions? No? Perfect. So that's our departure briefing completed. Then our IRSs have aligned, so let's just quickly see. 9.6 remaining and 5.9 required, so we are good. Excellent. So all that lovely stuff is done. So what I'm quickly going to do is to call ground to verify if we are going to de-ice on the stand or if we have remote de-icing over here.
Sounds good, no worries. Yeah, Boston's particular, we don't have a lot of taxiway space, so the ramp is controlled, it says in your CDC2.
I missed that. Apologies.
No problem.
Boston ground, good evening Alaska 311. We just want to confirm whether we'll do remote de-icing or de-icing on the stand today.
Alaska 311, Boston on a low. Typically at Boston, most companies will just de-ice at the ramp, but if you'd like, I can taxi you to the J-pad down there and you can de-ice as well.
Well, we can do it on the ramp, no problem. Thank you very much, and we'll call you back later when we're ready for push.
Great, Air Canada 1756, you can monitor tower with 8.8, have a good flight.
Alright, perfect. So that stuff is settled, and 128.8 is going to be the next frequency. I'll just leave that for the time being, so that we got a little bit of silence for ourselves here. So let's see how the boarding is going. And it's completed. Beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning from Flight Deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emmanuel, and in the name of Alaska Airlines, welcome aboard our Boeing 737-900 on our flight to Portland. Today's flight time is going to be just shy of 6 hours, expecting mostly smooth ride with maybe some occasional bumps from some strong winds that we are crossing en route across the Great Lakes. Thank you very much for being our guests today. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us. And if there's anything we can do for you to make it more enjoyable, please don't hesitate to ask any of our charming cabin crew members. Thank you very much for your attention, and again, welcome aboard. Alrighty, so that stuff is done. Then the cargo holds are still open. Are they still doing something? Nope, they do seem ready. Right, that's lovely. So then let's go ahead and do our performance. So we've got 137.3, and that's 100 down. giving us 181.3, and that checks. So performance, Boston, runway 9, import that. Anti-ice is going to be on engines and air conditioning is going to be on. We can also import the weather, and you can give me that in inches please. Right, calculate. Oh god, are you kidding me? We will for sure be able to take off here, provided that we get the runway length right. Is that really just 2,000 meters? I kinda can't believe that. Oh yeah, it is. 2,137. Okay, well, then let's see if there's anything we can do over here. Rating. We can't bump it, unfortunately. Now the question, do we need anti-ice for this departure? What's the clouds looking like? Can we see something here? I suppose we could try without. But that still gets us to 178, and we are at 181. Okay, well, you're making things interesting for us today. I just want to try something. What happens if we make it wet? Okay, it actually goes down. I was kind of hoping we might be able to find a little bug or something here. Okay, so our tablet says we can't go. Let's see if we're getting anything different if we try the SimBrief calculator. Because sometimes I have the feeling that when you are right at the performance limit of the aircraft, that one may be a bit closer. So runway 9, all of that stuff set. Takeoff weight, we call it 181. Like this. Anti-ice is on engine. Let's see. And that one also tells us we can't go. Okay. Well, that's fine then. Then we actually have to make something up, because we'll be unable for runway 9. So yeah, let's give ATC another shout. Boston ground, Alaska 311. We'll be unable for runway 9R due to performance reasons. Do you have an alternative departure runway?
Alaska 311, bounce around A-firm. You can flex on a 4 right. It'll be climb via SID, except maintain 3000.
Expecting runway 4 right, climb via SID, except maintain 3000, Alaska 311. Thanks. Alright. 3000, runway 4 right, that thing is a lot longer. So departing 4 right, Highland 7, the rest is unchanged. Then let's quickly go ahead and check that. Like this. So the new departure is straight ahead to Nant. There we go, straight ahead to Nant. Then it's a right hand turn, Herbie above 4000, Stacy, Sophie and Shan, and then it's a left hand turn inbound to Highland. Alright, and the rest is unchanged.
1432, runway 9er.
Alright, so that's all looking good. Then let's just copy that, and let's go for the next attempt at our takeoff calls. So runway ID is 4 right this time, and that one's quite a bit longer. Engine anti-ice can also come back on. And now we got takeoff 1, 34 degrees. So takeoff 1 at 34. And note that on the 900, takeoff 1 is actually 26k, which is the same rating that the 737-800 has as full rating. Alright, so 93.9, and that's looking good. And then we can move on. That's the flaps 5 takeoff. RCG is 22.1. Giving us a trim of 6.2 units, which checks against the EFB. And then we got takeoff speeds of 160, 160, 166. Like that. 6.2 and 166. Okay, lovely. So that's all done. Then let's go ahead and get going.
2294.
So to update the briefing, everything's unchanged except that we're now taxiing runway 4 right. We are going to go for the full length, so probably all the way down via Bravo. A little caution down there when we are crossing the extended final of runway 9 due to jet blast, and our sit straight at right turn, climbing 3000. Right, questions? No? Beautiful, then we're done with all that stuff. So let's go ahead.
32. Can you make the left on echo there?
Check. Our APU is on the buses, so ground power can release, and the parking brake is set. GSX, prepare for pushback and departure, please. And we call you back for de-icing.
No, there's no traffic. There's a Connie ahead of me.
Alright. That's all looking lovely. All that good stuff is done, then let's go ahead and get going with the safety inspection checklist and before start checklist down to the line, please. So that's services and trucks, check, maintenance status check, batteries on, elec hydraulic pumps on, landing gear lever is down, chips libraries checked, RS mode selectors, nav, gear pins 103 removed, probe covers 10345 removed, light test checked, oxygen test 100%, yaw damper is on, nav transfer display switches normal and auto, fuel, that's 43.5 required, 44 on board and 6 pumps on, cabin utility RF galley power on, emergency exit lights on, fast modes on, window heat on, air cannon press, pack auto bleeds on set, press mode selector auto, instruments, cross check, auto brake RTO, hydraulics, normal, speed brake, down return, parking brake set, step from cutoff switch is normal, wheel by fire warning checked, radius, radar and transponder set standby, rudder and aileron trims 3 and 0, takeoff briefing disgusting, PA complete, FMC, CDU set, M1 and IS box. We got automatic, reduced 26k, speed 60, 60, 66 set, step trim 6.2 set, and performance weight and balance sign sent, phones off, EFB, airplane mode still, flight windows and cockpit door. Well, here's something. Closed and locked, doors to go. Right, so ground ops. Here's one more to go. Aft cargo door should be closing now, and it is. So then all the cabin doors can be armed, and the ground services have been removed. Everything's been removed over here as well. So we're basically good to go. Alrighty. So we've done all that good stuff. Next up, we got, well, doors closed, passengers seated. Before start checklist is complete down to the line. Then let's go for our anti-icing and de-icing, please. So, de-icing and anti-icing checklist. That's APU as needed, and the APU should be shut down unless APU operation is necessary. It is necessary today. So, flaps up, and they're up. Thrust lever is idle, step trim 6.2 units. Set, engine bleed switches, verify off. Off, APU bleed switch off. Off. And after de-icing and anti-icing is completed, APU as needed. Okay, then we're ready to go. So, ground flight deck. So, do you request de-icing? Yes, we do. Okay, so far so good. We don't actually have any precipitation over here that could do any problems. So what we're gonna do is we'll just do a one-step de-icing process using a Type 1 fluid in order to remove deposits from the aircraft.
Negative, the ramp is controlled, so just give me a call when you...
Actually, I'll tell you what, we are gonna use a Type 2 de-icing fluid, so that we actually get a little bit of protection, because, well, the forecast does tell us there may be some snow showers. And looking over there, there actually are.
And then aircraft will give it to ATC, just let them know that they have the current weather. So you can grab the ATIS on 135.0, you can go to...
Alright, and here's our de-ice is coming, so we can start that de-icing process. So, ground flight deck. The aircraft is prepared for de-icing. You're ready to go any moment. And we'll take the Type 2 fluid at a concentration of 100%.
Con 1894 Heavy, monitor tower, 128.8, sorry about that.
Alright, so while we're waiting for the de-icing to complete, let's go ahead and have a look at the holdover timetable. so that we can see how long we actually have. Now mind your ears, it is going to get a little bit bright right now. Here it is. Did I say mind your ears? It is going to get bright? Okay, yeah, it's late. Alright, so we got a generic holdover timetable for SAE Type 2 fluids. The temperature is -3 and above, concentration at 100. So if we get anything like snow or snow grains, we'd have half an hour protection. And I think that's the worst we might encounter today. So we'll take half an hour for the...
Okay, sorry, so
we'll just go with half an hour.
Right, because you're all the way up there. So expect runway 15 right, climb to...
Alright, good. So the de-icing is commencing right now, and then we are basically ready to go once these guys are ready. And since de-icing has commenced, let's go ahead and start that timing so that we got the holdover time running. Okay, I think they're ready down there.
Back, cross runway 4 left on Charlie, and then Bravo Kilo to the ramp.
Okay, and we do have a new runway, so runway headings now 035.
Already crossed the 4 right here, but I'll continue taxi Bravo.
Alright, so we are basically ready to go down there. And let's just check that the GSX guys are done.
Charlie. Should be in front
and as soon as they are, we'll be ready to go. Okay. So, that's pretty much everything we had to do for the time being. Now, I'll tell you what, we'll start the elapsed timer down here as well. Looks like the de-icing process is finished, so let's continue with the checklist. So, after the anti-icing operation is completed, APU is needed, and that thing is already on. Wait approximately 1 minute after de-icing is completed to turn the engine bleed air switches to on to ensure all de-icing fluid has been cleared from the engines. Alright, so we will wait a minute over here, which is in progress now. We'll wait until we're at... I'll tell you what, let's restart this. Here we go, and then we can turn the engine bleed switches on, flight control check as needed, and that's the de-icing checklist complete. Alright, so far so good. Then let's go ahead and call for pushback clearance. And that's the right frequency. Alright, let's go. Boston ground, Alaska 311, request pushback and startup.
Alaska 311, Boston ground, pushback, your discretion. Call me for taxi.
Pushback at our discretion, call you for taxi, Alaska 311. Alright, the minute is about over. Then engine bleed switches can come on.
Is now closed. The other controllers are having to close as well. They need to go. So no further issue services available. Frequency change is approved.
And this is exactly why I do not like to record videos on VATSIM. All of a sudden, everyone's gone. And now we're doing a Honeycomb flight. Hate this. Okay. Well... Ground flight deck, push and start are approved, parking brakes off, and here we go. By the way, what on earth is that sound that we're hearing? Doesn't seem to come from our audio system. God, I'm hating this. See, that's really the problem with VATSIM. That's what I don't like flying on there. They just come and leave whenever they want, and then you're stuck without ATC. Okay, engine 2 start, and actually before start checklist below the line. Air compacts off, anti-collision on, parking brake off, transponder alt off. Complete. And in order for this to work we do need APU bleed. Minute is over, so here we go. Engine 2 start. Alright, N2. Oil pressure, N1. Fuel on. And the pushback is, well, they are still pulling us forward, that's okay. Alright, start a cutout, monitor 2, and we're starting 1. And 2. Oil pressure, N1. And now the pushback is completed. Parking brake is set. Okay, starter cutout, monitor 1, and after starts. What was that? Something's blocking my click spots there again. Stupid GSX menu. Okay, so we'll have to cycle the flaps here. Let's go up 40 up. Alright, that's the handling agent. Clear signal is received. Then let's do the flight controls. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Rudders. Full left. Full right. And neutral. Alright, flaps are out, then let's retract them again, and tell you what, we can just retract them into the 5 position, because, well, we do not currently have any active icing. Alright, B4 taxi checklist. Generators on, APU off, start switches continuous, propede on, anti-ice off, air conditioning, PAX auto bleeds on, isolation valve, auto, flaps, 5 required, 5 selected, and a green light, step trim 6.2 sets. Start levers idly 10, flight controls checked, recall checked, before taxi checklist complete. Boston traffic, Alaska 311 is taxiing runway 4 right via Bravo. Clear left, clear right. Config. Okay, so straight at Charlie, Bravo, all the way to runway 4 right.
Boston traffic, Japan 887 heavy, final approach 04 right, 4 miles.
Clear left and clear right. Okay then, B4 takeoff checklist to the line. Config checked, flaps 5-5 green light, step trim 6.2 set, takeoff briefing, left seat takeoff, runway 4 right, flaps 5, noise abatement procedure 2, takeoff speeds 160, 160, 166, and that is set. We've got Pax Auto bleeds on and engine anti-ice on, and the sit is straight ahead with a right turnout, climbing initially 3,000 feet, and then we'll get further clearance once we're in the air. We're on the departure frequency already, and the new threat for today's departure is that we are doing a Honeycomb departure, so uncontrolled traffic. There's one on final just there who did also report it. Apart from that, we are not really aware of anything, so yeah, if someone's not reporting, then we can't really help him either. Okay, I've got nothing out of the ordinary here. Engine out, straight ahead 3000, and that's it. Any questions? No? Beautiful. And cabin secure, before takeoff checklist complete down to the line. And let's also get the heads-up display down, and most importantly, let's dim it a little bit. Like this. Alright, I like that. So, we keep following the taxiway all the way to runway 4 right. Beautiful look at the city down there, isn't it?
Boston traffic, Japan 887, vacating runway 04 right via Romeo.
Boston traffic, Alaska 311, line up and takeoff, runway 04 right. Okay, so the runway is right up there in front. So, before takeoff checklist below the line, MCP, set, transponder, Tara, strobe lights on, landing lights on, before takeoff checklist complete. So the holdover time is still good. And here we go, that's runway 04 right. Ready to go? Takeoff. Stabilized. Set takeoff thrust. Takeoff thrust set, indications normal. $80 knots, checked.
Boston traffic, Japan 887, taxi via November, crossing runway 15 left.
Gear up. You can see I've been a little bit more cautious over there because of the problem of tail strikes. LNAV. VNAV. Alright, and reaching the acceleration altitude in 200 feet. Lovely look down there at the city and everything in snow. I like it. So, flaps 1, speed checked, 1,000 to go is checked. Flaps up.
Traffic, Japan 887, correction runway 15 right.
Speed checked, flaps up. Okay then, let's continue our climb, something like 7,000 for now. So, typical 737 behavior, the real one is doing this as well. If you're accelerating in a turn, you will hopelessly overshoot that turn. It's not like the plane can't predict that the turn is going to happen and the acceleration at the same time, but the real plane isn't good at it, and neither is the PMDG. But hey, seeing the same box as in the real aircraft, that's something as well, isn't it? Okay then, here we go. So, Command A, flaps up no lights, will remain on QNH and after takeoff checklist. And we'll keep the anti-ice on for the time being. So we got air condition and pressurization at 2.0, climbing and set. Altimeters 2965, passing 4,300 now. And that's the after takeoff checklist complete. Alright, so let's continue our climb, something up a little bit higher, like 150. Ooh, quite the bank angle. Now the real one does go to 33 degrees, sometimes. And look at that, we're getting out of the clouds. Wonderful. Okay, so let's see. Schedule is 1728 and we predict 1701. Wonderful. Climbing to level 320 for sure. And well, that's it. MFRA is reset, don't need that any longer. Okay. Look at that beautiful plane. That's phenomenal, isn't it? Seeing Boston down in the snow is just nice as well. The airport very much in the background over there. Absolutely lovely. Something else that's really lovely, by the way, is the absolutely beautiful radar climb here. I mean, look at that. A 737 that's barely giving you 2,000 feet a minute? That doesn't happen too often. Alright then, altimeters. Passing 102, climbing 150, 10 checks. The fuel is pretty much balanced and we got 6 pumps on. Lights, I'm gonna turn them off here. Are off, APU is off, air conditioning and pressurization 4.0, climbing set, fast modes stay on for the time being. Recall checked and monitoring 1 to 1.5, and that's our 10 checks completed. Well then guys, sit back, relax and enjoy the ride with us, enjoy the beautiful sunrise, and then I see you all when we start the approach into Portland.
Baby, would you like that?
Alright everyone, we are on the approach into Portland. Unfortunately no ATC online anymore here either. They used to be online by the time I planned the flight. I kinda hoped they would stay online for a bit, but nope, didn't happen. So we are basically right over here now on our way into Portland. On our own, a little bit of Honeycomb traffic, so let's go ahead and dial in CTAF, which is gonna be... well, no frequency published over here, so it's probably 18.7. Let's go ahead and dial that one up. Can confirm that in vPilot as well if you type .ctaf and then the airport code. And if we do that, it'll turn out to be 123775. Okay, so be it. Here we go. Alright, nice. So now that that stuff is done, let's go ahead and start working on our arrival. The approach we've planned is the ILS approach runway 10 left, as we had predicted on the ground. And for the approach, we got a frequency of 111.3, which is active on both sides. The courses are 103, and the minimum 293 is set down here as well. Current QNH 3008, wind is coming slightly from the right at about 8 knots, so overall very easy conditions. Landing field elevation 30 feet as expected, and everything else is basically set up for an easy arrival. We're going through 10,000 over here. Let's go ahead and do the 10 checks real quick, and then we can talk about the briefing. So that fuel down here is balanced, and we got 4 pumps on, the lights are on pulse. So lights on, angular bank 25, air conditioning pressurization 4.0 descending set, fast modes on, cabin should be secure by now, recall checked, and 21.5 is still on the monitor. Alright, and that's our approach briefing completed. So we're descending via the arrival. Next up we are going to go down to 6,000 down here, and then let's go ahead and talk about the approach briefing. So threats for the approach, honestly, I don't see any, and you can take that quite literal, because down there is the airport. Yeah, so for the FMS, 240 below 10,000, fixed rings 10 miles, 4 miles, the entire arrival is in here and set up. Starting in 2000, 3 degrees, missed approach straight at 800, left turn 295, intercept the bearing 340 to battleground. Climbing 4,200, and as you can see, that all matches the chart. So we've got an MSA of 6,200 in the north, 3,500 in the south of battleground VOR, so 3.5 actually where we are flying, and that's pretty much it. For the fuel, we expect to land with 9.5, and the minimum required is 5.9, so we got around 3,000 extra, giving us around half an hour. Now, for our landing, we are burning 200 pounds, giving us basically 147, flaps 30, auto brake 3, 2,000 meters, vacate to the right, and then off to the terminal. Any questions to that? No? Beautiful, then that's our briefing completed. Now, I'd say, let's go to level change here, and since the weather is that good, we are gonna help ourselves here for a nice visual approach to save a little bit of time, shall we? Okay, so let's go down, and our field is inside right over there, so once we're at a decent altitude, we'll just turn base and then eventually final. Portland traffic, Alaska 311 is on a downwind for a visual approach, runway 10 left. So we'll fly the good old conventional style that you fly visual approaches, aka let's not bother with anything and just get down. No, I'm kidding, but we'll fly it in a proper and appropriate way for an approach. In the meantime, approach checklist please. Well, frisk check first. So frequency is 111.3, fixed rings, runway 10 left, 10 miles and 4 miles, idents, India, Victor, Delta, Golf. And, well, that's still a different ident here, but once we're on the other side, that should change. They're probably using the same ILS frequency for two sides. So that ident is checked, stamp instruments are set, and the course is 103 are cross-checked. Approach checklist. All limited instruments, cross-checked, approach rates, checked and set, approach checklist complete. Now let's see, do we have a VSD? Yes, we do. Lovely. So, everything is done and set up for that visual. We'll just keep descending over here, and then we'll probably turn once we beam the 4 mile point. That should be more than good enough. Okay, let's start slowing down. Speed 220, and I do want a little bit of fun, so let's actually do that ourselves. Flaps 1. Speed checked. And flaps 5. Speed checked. Beautiful airplane, isn't it? Right, speed down 180, and then let's go ahead and turn final. That's going to be heading 103, recycle the flight directors. Like that. Portland traffic, Alaska 311, turning left base, runway 10 left. Alright, so blazer on top, please. Like this. Alright, and we end up straight on the glide slope. So, auto thrust off. Give me that flap 5 reference speed, please. Like this. Nice. Okay then, let's turn final. I just absolutely love how well the lead-in line works on the 737s. And set go around altitude 3,200 feet set. Portland traffic, Alaska 311 established and the 6 mile final, runway 10 left. Okay then, we're established on the final. Let's assume that landing clearance is received here. And gear down, flaps 15. I'll already set VRF plus 5 because things are gonna go quickly here. Flaps 30. Speed checked, flaps 30. Landing checklist.
Airspeed low.
No, it's not. Start switches. Continuous. Recall checked. Speed brake armed. Green light. Landing gear down 3 green. Auto brake 3 set. Flaps 30. Green light. Landing lights are on. Landing checklist completed. Crew seated. Clear land. So that's our runway. Pretty hard to see, to be honest. That sun is exactly in the spot where it's better not supposed to be. But here we go, this is looking pretty good. The 3-degree line is located exactly on the puppy on that HUD. What else could we be asking for? Okay, I get it. A pay rise. As always.
Minimums.
Continue. Disregard the glide slope. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. Speed brake up. Thrust as normal. What the hell is that left engine doing? Okay, cancel reversers. Manual brakes. 80 knots. 60 knots. And here we are. Welcome Portland. Portland traffic, Alaska 311 vacating 10 left. So that was an interesting behavior by the reversers. Probably has to be some issue with my control assignments there and nothing with the aircraft, but nonetheless. You could kinda hear how the reverse levers went into and out of the reverse detent all the time, so I do assume that that was me and not the plane. But anyway, here we are. Timer is running, then let's do the after landing items. Transponder is going up, flaps are going up, spoilers are going in. Trim going down towards 4 units. Like this. Auto brake off. Okay, and here we are. No after landing checklist, but we can definitely turn that weather radar off. Okay. Don't need the HUD for taxiing, and that's it. So, overall, that was a very interesting flight. It was a little bit unfortunate that ATC just went offline when we started to push, but well, not much we can do about it. See, that's why I usually do prefer recording with sane intentions, but I tried to hear you. Didn't work, so be it. So, a taxi into Charlie 18, that means we do have quite a little while to taxi, actually. So, just... give me that safe taxi map, please. Here we go. Charlie 18 is going to be down there, so straight around onto the apron, and that's it. Overall, a very enjoyable flight though. As mentioned, it's quite interesting to fly at those lower altitudes, especially concerning weather and everything as well as airplane performance, and generally interesting plane to rotate. I was probably a little bit overly cautious there. You are supposed to rotate at 2 to 2.5 degrees a second, regardless of the type of the NG that you are flying. So Boeing basically says with the same yoke input, you get an appropriate rotation rate for all of the 737 NG aircraft. That includes the 900. The rotation is going to be a little bit slower in the 900s, just because of the different body type of the aircraft. But apart from that, you are not really supposed to interfere there. So let's swing over onto the apron over here. A little careful here at 30 knots, since our flight attendants are going to be standing right now. And we don't want to throw any of them against the walls. That would cause us some, let's just say, rather unhappy date with our chief pilot. Now you might be wondering, why on earth did I do the radio altimeter calls on landing? That is actually not a bug in the PMDG. That is actually how those Alaska aircraft are programmed. They do not have these calls. I still can't believe it, and I honestly don't understand why, but it's how they are. Okay, start APU. Okay, so here's our gate on the right hand side, lights off, and the radar is off as well. Charlie 18, here it is, and here we go. Okay, looks like there is no ground staff, no marshaller, no nothing. Alright. 2 blue, 1 red. Engines dead. Cabin crew, disarm slots and cross-check. Okay, here we are, so let's shadow down. Transit shutdown checklist, and we got both engines below 20%, lights off. So, electrical on APU, fasten belts off, ProPeat auto, anti-ice off, voice recorder on, air compacts auto, engine bleeds on, APU bleed off, exterior lights, steady and wheel well, start switches off, auto brake off, speed brake down to 10, flaps up and light, parking brake set, start levers cut off, weather radar off, transponder 2000 standby, CB/RCB in, cockpit door is now unlocked, and that's the transit shutdown checklist complete. Okay, here we are. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, be sure to leave your feedback in the comments underneath the video, like, comment and subscribe, and if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, if you do love the PMDG 737-900, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.